Good morning. This is a special coverage of the coronavirus crisis using the combined forces of News 5 and Signal TV's 1 News, Radio 5, and 1PH. A reminder from government, the Interior Department is discouraging LGUs from using disinfection tents, misting chambers, or sanitation booths on persons because they could do more harm than good. The agency stressed that these methods have not been proven effective against the coronavirus. The Interior Department also quoted an advisory from both the Health Department and the World Health Organization that says these measures do not protect humans against COVID-19 at all. The department pointed out that hypochlorite, the commonly used disinfectant, can irritate the skin, eyes, nose, and throat. They may also have adverse effects when inhaled. But Interior Secretary Eduardo Año clarified that misting can only be done on cars, rooms, buildings, and other inanimate objects. Personnel in PPEs can also be sprayed on before removing the gear. An employee of the Department of Public Works and Highways died while awaiting test results for COVID-19. The employee worked at the PICC quarantine facility in Pasay City, according to Ana Lamentillo, chair of the agency's Build Committee. The official said the deceased employee experienced diarrhea before getting tested for SARS-CoV-2. Lamentillo also said that the DPWH has extended assistance to the family of the employee. She also said contact tracing is now underway. The Interior Department has released an order on the removal of window hours for grocery or market runs. On the other hand, the IATF has issued guidelines for expanded COVID-19 mass testing. Maricel Halili will now join us live from Mandaluyong for more details. Mase, anong sinasabi nitong memorandum mula sa DILG at sa IATF?
Tama ka, Bok. Naglabas nga ng advisory ang DILG na nagdi-discourage sa mga local government units para magpapatupad ng window hours sa mga grocery, wet markets at saka iba pang mga importanteng establishment para maiwasan daw yung kumpulan ng mga tao. Kasabay nito, naglabas din ng panuntunan ang Interagency Task Force para naman sa pagpapatupad noong expanded mass testing. Kasama sa mga prioridad na sumailalim sa COVID-19 test ang pasyente o healthcare workers na may critical na sintomas at may travel history o contact sa COVID-positive individuals. Pasyente na may mild symptoms na galing sa biyahe at kinukonsiderang vulnerable. Pasyente at healthcare workers na may mild symptoms na galing sa biyahe at may contact sa COVID-positive at mga pasyente na walang sintomas pero may travel history at may exposure sa COVID. Dahil sa limitadong test kits, inutusan ng IATF ang lahat ng subnational laboratories na ilaan sa ang 20 hanggang 30% ng kanilang daily testing capacity sa mga health workers, habang ang natitirang 70% naman ang ilalaan sa mga pasyente. Sa ngayon, ikinukonsidera ang paggamit ng rapid antibody-based test kits sa mga asymptomatic patients o yung mga persons under monitoring. Hindi pa rin inirerekomenda ang paggamit sa kanila ng RT-PCR. Tanging mga rapid antibody-based test kits lamang na approved ng FDA at na-validate ng RITM or DOST ang pwedeng gamitin. Lahat ng healthcare workers na may sintomas ay dapat i-isolate at i-test gamit ang RT-PCR. Lahat naman ng healthcare workers na walang sintomas pero may exposure ay dapat pa rin i-test gamit ang RT-PCR. Pero kung wala nito, pwede silang i-test gamit ang antibody-based test every 14 days. Hindi pa rin inirerekomenda ang paggamit ng rapid test sa symptomatic patient, pero kung wala talagang RT-PCR ay pwede na rin gumamit nito. Yun nga lang, kahit ano ang resulta ay kailangan pa rin silang ma-quarantine sa loob ng 14 na araw. Inanunsyo rin ng IATF na lahat ng LGUs sa Metro Manila ay nakapagpasa na ng Anti-Discrimination Ordinance para sa healthcare workers. Bok, nilinaw din ng IATF at ng DILG particularly yung kumakalat na audio clip ng isang babae na nagsasabi na magpapatupad ng lockdown either today or tomorrow. Ito raw ay malinaw na fake news dahil wala pa namang ibinibigay na kautusan ang Pangulong Duterte tungkol dito. Sa katunayan, kasalukuyan ngang nagkakaroon ng pulong ngayon ng mga miyembro ng Interagency Task Force para bumuo ng rekomendasyon kung ano yung mangyayari doon sa April 30 o yung sinasabi natin na April 30 post scenario. Dito, magkakaroon sila ng recommendation whether there's a need to lift or to extend or kailangan magpatupad ng modified enhanced community quarantine after April 30. Bok?
Bok, may idea ba tayo kung kailan ibibigay itong rekomendasyon ng IATF o ng mga agencies doon sa Pangulo?
Bok ang sinasabi ng IATF as soon as possible dahil kailangang makabuo sila o ang Pangulong Duterte ng decision within the week kung ano yung magiging scenario natin after April 30, whether to lift, extend, or modify ang implementation ng ECQ.
So we expect a recommendation within this week. Kasi Thursday next week na bali yung April 30 eh.
Yes, tama ka, Bok. Dapat within the week may decision na sila.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Maricel Halili. IATF Special Medical Advisor Tony Lechon believes that the enhanced community quarantine in Luzon has been effective. However, in an interview with One News's Agenda, Lechon says that the DOH must first record all outpatient cases of COVID-19 in the country to get a clearer picture of how we are faring in the battle against the SARS-like disease.
We have a lower recovery rate, though the picture that we see in the Department of Health, because these are absolute numbers, when you compare with the rest of the world, we're actually lower than the rest of the world because we were surprised and of course overwhelmed, and the Department of Health has opted to monitor only the cases in the hospital because in reality, Sito, we also monitor those cases in the outpatient and as whether they improve or not. But in the Philippine setting, since our documentation are basically the hospital, so we expect deaths in the hospital, and we expect that because of the prolonged stay, an average to flat the epidemic curve. And I think New York right now is plateauing, going down. And I think we need to see the figure, the epi curve.
Lechon also warned against drastically lifting the ECQ in Luzon. At this time, the ECQ is scheduled to be lifted by the end of the month. The task force is now discussing post-April 30 scenarios.
There's a tight balance between health and economy. Without the infrastructure in place, like the mass testings, and then, of course, the readiness of the COVID hospital so that we can open the tertiary hospitals, this might actually cause problems when hindi ready pa, and basically because of the clamor of the business community, it might be detrimental to do that. So the best approach would be perhaps Luzon, I discussed it with Secretary Galvez, will be on ECQ with phase down, and then essential workers, and then PCR will be still ECQ up to the May 15, and then localize with cities in the national capital region.
More and more overseas workers are coming home. The government flew in 233 Filipino migrant workers from Indonesia, Singapore, and Kenya on Sunday. The repatriates are land-based workers whose jobs were put on hold because of the coronavirus crisis. They arrived at the NAIA via two separate flights operated by Korean Air and Philippine Airlines. The OFWs were transported to designated facilities to undergo a mandatory 14-day quarantine. So far, almost 17,000 Filipinos have been repatriated. The DFA has confirmed the death of Eric Belfrage, the Philippine Honorary Consul General in Stockholm, Sweden, due to COVID-19. Belfrage has been at the helm of our Consulate General in Stockholm from 2013 until his passing on April 18. The DFA says the former diplomat helped expand relations between the Philippines and Sweden, highlighted by both countries' decision to reopen their respective embassies in Manila and in Stockholm. Residents in one barangay in Quezon City are up in arms after finding out on Facebook that their community is being placed in total lockdown. To give us the latest updates, we have Ria Fernandez live from Barangay Bahay Toro in Quezon City. Ria, total lockdown na nga ba talaga dyan?
Bok, maraming tanong ang mga taga-barangay Bahay Toro dito sa Quezon City matapos maglabas ng assigned total lockdown notice ang barangay officials nila sa Facebook kagabi. Batay sa notice, epektibo simula ngayong araw, April 20, ang mas mahigpit na pagpapatupad ng extreme enhanced community quarantine. Kaya natili raw ito hanggang alisin ni Pangulo ang ECQ. Bunsod niyan, isasara mga main road na pumapalibot sa barangay. Yan ang Seminary Road to FEMA, Villa Socorro to Seminary Road, Jupiter Street to Pluto Street to Mercury Street. Para makadagdagan ito. Dapat ng wala pamamalik.
And that's the latest on the enhanced and expanded community quarantine in Luzon. We apologize for the technical glitch. Now, for more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News.